everyone, what's up? It's Lisa. So today I'm doing a little get ready with me, really because I'm going to CVS to pick up a refill of my Lexapro. But yeah, so I don't know, it's quarantine, so you might as well get ready. And I'm going to be talking about self-confidence because it's something I've been thinking about a lot and talking with my friends about a lot, and I don't know, might as well ramble to you guys as I do this. So I'm just gonna do my makeup and I'm gonna talk about things I've learned. So I texted my friend and I was like, what word/5 should I go for with my look today? And he said refined, and I said, what the hell? What? But that is the word I was given, so that's what I'm going to do. And I think I'm gonna do a cut crease then, because I feel like those are really refined. So I'm gonna start with my primer. I just use Clinique's Super Primer. Something I've been thinking about a lot this year is self-confidence. I'm gonna put on foundation, so I use Clinique Even Better in the shade Ivory, but this is like basically out, and I've been using the Ordinary's foundation coverage foundation. People have been raving about this, and I mix the colors 12Y and 12YG. Yeah, so I think in the past I've been in a lot of situations where I feel like if I'm not performing in my friendships, as in like if I'm not taking every call, if I'm not there every time someone has a problem, if I'm not there every single time when someone needs me to help them move, or like all these things, then I'm not a good friend and I'm not a good person. And I think just I valued myself so little in comparison to everyone in my life around me. But one big thing that I've learned, I would say this year, especially regarding that, I'm actually gonna use my 12YG as concealer now, because my skin has been very unhappy with me. You can see all my acne. Yeah, but one thing I've learned about that is the way you treat yourself sort of dictates the way other people treat you, because it shows people what you'll tolerate. So if you're constantly talking down on yourself, and if you're constantly allowing people to sort of violate your boundaries and walk all over you, then, and like overall just being really mean to yourself, other people are getting the signal that they can treat you like that, because that's the way you tolerate being treated. I'm just gonna blend this as concealer now using my beauty blender. Also, I'm not a makeup guru. I don't really know what I'm doing, to be completely honest, but I think makeup is fun. That all the bad and toxic habits I had that involved really just overall being mean and cruel to myself really were indicative of a sense of like low self-worth that I had, and that I'd felt and that I'd held for years on end. And that just like was not good for me. I'm gonna use this now as concealer to like shake my face. So a huge lesson I've learned this year has just been surrounding building self-confidence. And I think it's very easy to recognize that like you're mean to yourself, and that you should be kinder, and that you should take yourself more seriously, and that you should prioritize your own needs. But it's kind of, sometimes that's something we think of as more like, I guess, just something that's in our head rather than having like practical implications for our lives. But I think one thing that really clicked for me this year is like, no, it has very, very practical implications. There are literally things you can do to make yourself feel better about yourself. One of them obviously is like practicing just positive self-talk, stopping yourself when you start to enter these narratives that in which you tell yourself that you're dumb, or you're stupid, or you don't deserve good things, and recognizing that those aren't true statements, and they often come from a place of fear and anxiety, rather than truth and love. So that's definitely something I've been working on. Like, I know we've all heard this like a million times, but talking to yourself like you would talk to a friend has just been huge for me, in the sense that, like, I would never tell a friend who messed up, or who didn't even mess up, who got treated poorly by someone else, like, oh, you deserve that because you're a piece of shit who, like, everyone hates and everyone's gonna abandon. Like, I would never say that to a friend. So why would I say that to myself? I think another really practical thing that I've been doing this year, to build my self-confidence, is like in my appearance, or in, yeah, my fashion, just like dressing really out of the box or doing things that are really out of the box. So I wanted to dye my hair for a very long time, like years on end. I've been talking about dyeing my hair a different color, and I was always really way too scared to do it because, oh, I'm just baking my face with, yeah, but I was really worried, I guess, about the outside perception of having colored hair. Like, my hair is blue now, and like, yeah, maybe when I go out on the street people judge that, or they think it's really weird. I don't know. You know, that was a huge fear that I had, but I knew that it was something I really wanted to do, and I knew that it was something that I would think would look good. It would make me feel good about myself. So in like continuing to let fear sort of dictate me not doing it, what I was doing is I was like telling myself basically that that what I wanted wasn't worth it, and that the potential judgment of other people outweighed like the benefits of me feeling good and happy about myself in like dyeing my hair. And so this year I just did it, and I think, like, this sounds really dumb, but it was one of like my favorite decisions I've made, because it just made me feel really, really good about myself. And I realized that people really aren't judging you as much as you think they are. Most people don't spend a lot of time and energy thinking about other people, and if they do, that's kind of weird. Yeah, and like the most comments I get from outside people are actually like people complimenting my hair or saying that they really like it, and it's just like a way I've been able to creatively express myself. And something that I read recently that actually really, really resonated with me was, one way to build self-confidence and self-worth is doing things you know you want to do that would like make you feel better about yourself, or like help develop a sense of self even when you're afraid. So even when you're like afraid of the outside perception and of what people will say, like in those moments of fear, when you push yourself to tell yourself that you're worth it and that you should do it anyway, that's when you're building your self-worth and your self-confidence. And I think that's so, so important. Another thing I've been thinking about recently is with regards to social media. So I think, like, a lot of people talk about this, but there is such a push today on social media to like have a certain image and to present yourself in a certain way. And I think something that's really interesting that I've been noticing is it's often involving like not caring about things too much, and especially like not feeling good about yourself, is like, I guess, a pattern that I've seen. So like, one, people being really worried, especially, I mean, this is like a gendered and racial issue, obviously, because we live in a society that like perpetuates white supremacy and white domination over politics, economics, society in general, culture, all those things. But just like that there's a backlash when people try to be unapologetically themselves. Yeah, so that's something I was thinking about a lot, I would say, is like the idea that like I can post whatever I want on social media. And I started an account for my outfits, basically, for my outfits of the day. and makeup looks, and I just post them, and they're fun and they make me feel good about myself, and I don't care if they're not always the highest quality, and I don't care if this makes people think I'm full of myself, because I know who I am, and I know that every time I post something and put myself out there, I'm telling the world that I like myself, and that's really important to me. I'm just doing my eyebrows. Okay, so I did this eye like off camera. It looks okay. I think I'm gonna blend it a little more. But yeah, this is how my cut crease is looking. Yeah. I actually, yeah, this is a little bit stressful. I have a like clean brush that I'm gonna use to blend actually. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, so that's the side. I'm gonna do eyeliner in a second. But I think another point that I was going to make about building self-confidence and building self-worth being really, really hard is the idea that, like, you know, improving yourself and learning to love yourself is actually really hard work. Sometimes it involves doing things you don't want to do. I think too often we think of it as like this cycle of like, oh, okay, I'm gonna love myself now, and life's gonna be better because I'm going to tell myself that I am a good person who's deserving of love. And it's true, we should be telling ourselves that we're good people deserving of love, but we can't just say that in our minds. Things have to match in our actions. So I think for a lot of people, or for me especially, I've definitely case, and that felt bad and it felt awful and it was not easy, but when you allow yourself to remain in toxic situations, or when you allow yourself to keep dating or like keep being friends with people who just don't know how to treat you correctly or the way that you deserve, then again, like I said, all you're doing is teaching yourself that that's what you deserve, and you're teaching other people that that's what you deserve as well. So those are like hard things to do, but they're so necessary if you want to learn to love yourself. Another huge part of, for me at least, learning to like really love myself is I think I try very, very hard to be perfect in all like social situations. I think this is like a large, and you know, a big part of learning to love myself has just been like, I'm gonna mess up sometimes. I am a hugely emotional person. I can be an anxious mess. I am sensitive, and I get really upset at injustice. I get really upset when I'm treated poorly. I get really upset when my friends are treated poorly. And that's just not something that's gonna like go away, and that's actually a fundamental part of me, and I like that part of me because it's inspired me to get involved with nonprofit work. It's inspired me to get involved with activism on campus, off campus, on social media, and that's something that I like about myself, and the fact that I'm not perfect is okay. And I think too often, especially in this day and age of like self-improvement, we get obsessed with the idea that we need to be the best versions of ourselves 24/7, and if we're not like, it sounds kind of cliche, but an important mantra really is like, I am where I am right now, and that's okay. And that doesn't mean I think I'm perfect, and that doesn't mean there aren't things I'm working on, and that doesn't mean that I won't be working on improving myself in the future. It just means right now, in this moment, I am where I am, and that is okay for this moment, and I'm doing the best that I can. And I love this part of me, and I'm always ready to be educated by others, of course, but I am not more obsessed with my own faults than the good things about me. And I guess that's just a huge part of self-love. At least for me, because I used to be so, when I first started going to therapy, my therapist would like ask me to name some qualities about myself that I really liked, and it was always, for her, she like describes it to me, it was like pulling teeth, because every time I would say something positive about myself, I would like sort of negate it with being like, oh, but there's something negative. Like I'd be like, oh, I can persevere through hard like times, but also that makes me really stubborn. And it was just so hard to sit with the idea that there are good parts about myself, because I was so obsessed with all of the bad parts of me. And that just wasn't very healthy for me at all. I'm just putting white on the inner corners. And then I'm just gonna blend out the corners with brushes. Yeah, but I think that's been a huge area of growth for me as well. Just being able to say there are things that I like about myself without cringing or feeling stupid or immediately wanting to throw up and say like 25 things I don't like about myself has been huge. And acknowledging that there are things I can like about myself even though I'm not perfect, because I will never be perfect, and I will probably... Okay, so I'm gonna put a little more. I feel like I look like an owl a little bit. Hopefully that's a good look, because that is what I'm going to walk out looking like today. And then we just blend it out a little. Okay, so this is what I have. It doesn't look so bad. I kind of like it. I don't know. Tell me what you think. But yeah, so this is my cut crease look. I don't really know if it's fully a cut crease look or if it just kind of looks like I did brown eyeshadow, but either way, it's kind of cool. Now I'm gonna put on blush and highlight and oh no, I'm not. So that's step one. And then step two is like going like here. That's step two. And that's step three. Now we're gonna fill it in. This is the M Cosmetics felt tip. I like it, but I wish it were like blacker. Like I feel like it dries pretty easily, which is not my favorite thing. But I overall like it. And then I don't really bother doing a ton of eyeliner because I think it actually makes my eyes look smaller, and then also like you just, if I were to line all that, you just can't see it and I feel like it's a waste. But this is what it looks like. I actually saw this on TikTok. This is where I get everything these days. Yeah, so I think another thing, I guess this is related, is that so I guess basically those are my tips about building self-confidence. And the like main thing I would say to focus on is like, if there's something you really want to do, if there's a blog you want to start, if there's a YouTube account you want to start, if you want to get really into fashion, if you want to make TikToks, if you want to talk more about activism publicly to your friends and family if you want to, which I think we all should be doing more often, by the way. Like, if what's holding you back is, one, if it's people making fun of you, cut those people out of your life, because those people are super lame and jealous that you have passions to pursue. But if the only thing holding you back is the fear that other people will judge you, then do it. Because in the moments in which we face our fears and say, I know the world might have something to say about this that is not positive, and you know what, I think I'm gonna bet on myself and I'm gonna decide I'm worth it anyways, those are the moments in which we teach ourselves, like, that we're worth it and that we're amazing, which you all are, and I think you should all know it, and flaunt it. And anyone who thinks differently is not someone you need. Oh, sorry. What I was saying was that there are, like, a lot of my friends started posting selfies, and they started, like, texting me and saying, like, that they feel inspired to, like, be more themselves, and that's the whole goal. Like, that's the whole point in, like, hashtag normalize confident girls, you know? Like, be you, be yourself, love, love who you are. Okay, so I'm gonna get changed and I'm gonna do my hair into buns, I think, and I will show you the final look, maybe in pictures, I don't know, and I'll link all my social media down below